Rocket League is a game that success comes from decision making and mechanics. And by knowing when to make a decision or use a certain mechanic, you have to know your limits, or else you would just go down in rank by trying to do what you see the pros do. So first, let me ask you something. Are you a smart player or a mechanical player? Whatever you said, you are wrong, unless if you said both, because instead of being one specific type of player, you should merge them, and instead you use your smarts to know when to be mechanical and whether or not you have the ability to make a certain play. Okay, so now that you are both a smart player and a mechanical player, the real question is, are you a passive player who waits for the ball to come to you, or an aggressive player who likes to apply pressure even though it may be a bit risky? Well, whatever your answer is to that, you are once again wrong. Unless if you said both, because it all depends on the certain occasion you are put in. Because if you are playing with an aggressive player, how do you think you would want to play the game out until your teammate decides to play passive? You will want to be a passive player so that you avoid double commits, and it's easier for you to communicate and understand where you both are on the field rather than rushing possessions and giving the other team easy goals off of mistakes that easily could have been avoided if you played slower if your teammate is playing faster. And I know I'm definitely not the only one that goes on losing streaks and just plays how we used to play when we were a rank lower. This is mainly in ones, and this is very frustrating, but you want to keep playing to get your rank back up, but now you're just rushing everything and playing really aggressive for no reason. But to get your composure back, you should instead play more passive and only wait until your opponent messes up instead of you messing up while your opponent doesn't even have to play passive for you to mess up. And after heavily taking that rank and you are getting carried away, so you start to think your solution is to switch your car up. Believe it or not, that isn't going to change anything unless if you chose the best car in the game. A wise man once told me, it isn't the car, it is your mind, and that just stuck with me. The only solution from playing aggressive due to raging is to simply just play slower and wait for your opponent to mess up, or go into free play for a bit or do some training packs, and if you are ready to tank another game mode, change the playlist. Let's say you lose in a 3s game and you start to get a bit frustrated. I would suggest switching to a 2s game and maybe even switch to a 1s game after before you go back to a 3s game. You can't rush your process to ranking up in Rocket League, and you have to let it come naturally, even if it means you lose some games or even a lot of games. Real quick, if you are enjoying this, make sure to subscribe so you can see more of these videos and so I know to keep making this type of content. You will have to change your type of playstyle a lot more often if you are solo queuing with random teammates, because every player is different, especially when you can't communicate with each other. Don't go into a game thinking your teammates are good, but don't also think they suck. Just worry about your own gameplay the whole way through, because if you end up losing, you can always do something different that could have changed the outcome. I highly recommend going into free play just as much, if not more, as you do in normal training packs. Learning a mechanic in a training pack is good, but it won't correlate to when you are in an actual game because you aren't used to setting yourself up in the position it is. Free play is a great way to practice anything and really change your playstyle in-game for the better. I would also like to talk about the sponsorship for this video. Just kidding, don't worry, you won't have to have those interruptions for a while. And last thing, if you are winning a game by a good amount but there's still a good amount of time left on the clock, play the same way you have been rather than playing more defensive. If you are winning by your playstyle at first, then why change it? Almost any comeback is possible, and I'm sure we've all had at least one time where we got too cocky and we blew the game. So if you are up by 3 with 40 seconds left on the clock, I'd say it's okay to start being cocky. And if you want to see how your best clips rank up with other people's clips, I am going to be starting a Sports Center top 10 except for Rocket League. You can send me your clips by DMing me on Instagram, and my username is opj.rl, and I will put it in the description if you can't find it. I will do a video for this every Sunday if I get enough people. Thanks for watching, especially if you made it all the way through. Peace.